Hey, welcome back to Facts at 5. I'm Michael Clark here at the LTV Media Center in Wayne Scott, New York. And as we do every Friday, we are talking with East Hampton Town Supervisor Peter Van Scoyoc. Welcome, Peter.
Good morning, Michael. Actually, I guess it's afternoon now. My husband goes by.
And one day is into the next. We all know that.
That's right.
So let's get right to it, Peter. The interesting quote that I read that Dr. Robert Redfield, the director of the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, said that the next few months might be the most difficult time, and I quote, in the public health history of this nation. And that's a pretty amazing and strong statement after what we've already been through. What's your reaction to that statement?
Sadly, I think it's accurate, and people really need to take heed. You know, we have been very successful at bringing down the curve here in East Hampton and on the East End. You know, we had a relatively flat summer in terms of cases, below 1% average. We've been told this whole time to not become complacent, that in the fall there'd be a resurgence. We've certainly seen that nationwide, and here on the East End, since Halloween, there's been an uptick, and since Thanksgiving, it's skyrocketing. So we are teetering as of this moment in a yellow zone, whereby further restrictions take place. You know, the local school districts going to be tested for COVID cases within the school as part of that metric. Once the yellow zone's reached, they're already planning to do that testing. And, you know, to determine, they test 20% of that school population in the East Hampton School District to find out how many cases there are. And because that's going to determine whether or not schools stay open. And I've been urging people in the last several weeks to please be careful and limit your exposure and with other people, period. You know, limit your trips to stores, make only essential trips. I know this is really difficult. You know, we came out of total shutdown and opened back up. We're in retrograde now. We're gonna have to shut things down, and that would be devastating. So please take this very seriously. We've had 14 cases just in the last day reported.
Wow.
So as of the most recent stats I have, which are 12/1, we had 503 total cases during the length of the pandemic, but that's up from 489 from the day before. That's 14 new cases. There were 8 cases before that. You can see it's almost doubling every day. So in a very short order, we're going to end up on total lockdown. None of us want to see that. You know, if you think it's difficult to just follow those basic protocols now, you know, we're going to be right back to total lockdown, which is devastating.
So that would be then, Peter, really the next step. So, you know, looking at changes that could help flatten the curve, is there anything that can be done, you know, prior to that happening?
Well, I mean, it's the same advice. You know, we know that there are vaccines that are being approved and will be put into circulation. There won't be nearly enough of them distributed, and they're going to be prioritized to healthcare workers and those at high risk first. You know, it's probably going to be, you know, end of summer 21 or early fall of 21 before there's really widespread ability to vaccinate the entire population.
Right.
So, you know, the only tool we really have is to not get sick and not get other people sick. And following those basic protocols, we saw how we really crushed it here. We saw a dramatic downturn in New York from what was the worldwide, you know, epicenter of this pandemic to one of the best situated locations anywhere. But, you know, we've been in this a while, and people are fatigued, and, you know, the holidays are here. You know, we've managed to keep our town staff safe. We've had our first reported case. And again, it was, my understanding was, you know, a child came home to visit for Thanksgiving. They didn't follow the safety precautions, and both parents are sick now.
Yeah.
I think it's a cautionary tale. It's what, we put out, and you've been putting out this information. I did a video ahead of Thanksgiving, urging the community to please not let your guard down. And, we're seeing the cases rapidly climb. Very concerning.
And we really haven't even necessarily felt the impact of Thanksgiving yet, right? Based on.
No, I mean, the 2 to 3 weeks, puts us right into the Christmas season. So,
yeah,
it's kind of like the perfect ramp up for just a really devastating outbreak all over.
Right.
People are gathering together and not taking every precaution, and people are getting sick. And then, you can also be asymptomatic. Just because you feel fine doesn't mean you're not sick and getting everyone else around you sick.
Right. So you mentioned the vaccine. We know the vaccine is right around the corner. Is any prep work being done here, Peter, for how the distribution will take place locally, or is that still at the state level? How does that work?
That's definitely at the state level at this point, and it's so far in the future in terms of when the general public within the communities will have access that it's not been discussed yet. Again, they're prioritizing frontline healthcare workers, those who actually are dealing directly with COVID positive patients, and then those in nursing homes and other congregate settings who are at high risk will get the first doses.
Yeah, as it should be. And
but it's something like less than 6%. So of the population. So you really need to have vaccinations approaching the 60-70% range to really be effective at beginning to stop the disease without these other measures that we've used in the past. Again, wearing masks and being really diligent, about washing your hands and cleaning surfaces.
Yeah, we've said all along, you've been on the show, every single week, kind of when our numbers were good to stay the course, and now it's kind of changed the course because we got to get back to the basics here, and the wearing the masks and the socially distant and 6 feet apart and all those things that are just smart. It's kind of hard to really understand how people at this point in time are not recognizing that this is the problem. But onward we go. And COVID obviously, remains our everyday focus and your everyday focus in the town. But running the town still remains. And what is the big thing on the town board's plate this week? I know, COVID obviously is, but what else is going on, Peter?
Well, we have the proposed pilot legislation to expand outdoor dining in the town code. This is to address, the issues with COVID and restaurants. And, we've done, through my executive orders, suspended zoning restrictions in order to allow restaurants to try and maximize the number of people that they could serve. It's critically important to our local economy. So we've taken another step to institute pilot program for 1 year to expand out to 100% of dining, in many cases outdoors, 100% of your existing capacity. We are in the final stages of wrapping up an agreement with Orsted over the cable landing access easements and host community agreements with Orsted and in conjunction with the good work that the trustees have done as well. And I expect, again, very shortly to have that conclusion of that process. The PSC and the certificate process will move on. But in terms of the town board's approval of access easements, that will come to conclusion soon. We'll have the public will have an opportunity to look at those documents and understand what the town's agreeing to. We'll take public comments on those agreements, and then we'll take a vote.
I actually saw them doing the soil sampling and well, I wasn't there doing it, but I could see the ship. And so it's going to be quite interesting. There's no results on any of that type of thing yet, right? That's
No, I mean, they were doing geotechnical borings, which is a critical part of understanding what the substrata of the seafloor is like in that location, because one of the requirements that we've put in place is that they keep the cable at least 30 feet below the beach, so that there's no chance of it ever becoming exposed and affecting our beach or near shore. So that's a necessary step. They will have to understand, what the substrata is made of,
right.
what the optimal depth is. They could end up being considerably deeper than 30 feet as a result.
Right. Is there anything else, Peter, in terms of the town and the town board, or what's hot these days?
Yeah, there's a huge list of things that I can go through, Michael. We probably don't have enough time, but we're looking at moving forward with instituting some of the zoning recommendations that are listed in the Hamlet plans. As we began in Wayne-Scott originally, when I was a freshman councilman, I got 2 other board members to agree that we needed to do a Hamlet study in conclusion of the comprehensive plan. And I was the liaison to Wayne-Scott at that time. So we started in Wayne-Scott. I think we'll probably start in Wayne-Scott again with this next phase and work our way west. So that's going on. We're looking at trying to get some additional testing opportunities for people in site in town, so that people can be tested quickly and efficiently. There is a wide variety of options for testing right now, and I urge anyone who's looking for testing to go to the town website, ehamptonny.gov, and look at COVID updates, or type in the search bar COVID testing sites. We have a up-to-date list of testing sites. Some sites have free testing. They offer a variety of types of tests, rapid tests, the nasal swab PCR tests, and antigen tests. So it's a full array. There are a number of options there, but we think that having more test sites within town is important. There are doctors that do perform the tests within town, and we also have the hospital set up at the high school 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. That requires an appointment. You can find that information on the town website as well.
Well, that's great. And also, I just learned today that Southampton Stony Brook Hospital is offering a lot of COVID support group virtual meetings, and those can be found on their website for some of the people that have just had enough, which most of us have, so they can seek out some help for, the stressful impact of this kind of thing. But, thank you once again, Peter, for all that you do. And we've once again run out of time, and I'll see you back here again next week at the same time, I hope.
Very good. I hope so, Michael. Thanks for having me on this show again. And please, everyone, stay safe and be well.
Thank you, Peter. Bye, everybody.